Okay, so another big start to the day, and we got to see some big lifts from some of the Chinese 89s. Finally, they've sort of laid their cards out on the table. We saw Dayin building up in the clean and jerk, obviously clean and power jerk. He worked up to 180 kilos, then just took a 20 kilo jump straight to 200, made it looked very, very comfortable. The night before, it was Tian Tao's turn, and he did the exact same thing, built up to 200 kilos. Obviously, you know, with Tian, things sometimes look a little bit wobblier in the jerk, but it looked really nice. So 200 kilos for Tian. Li Wen also built up to the heaviest snatch that I've ever seen in the training hall from a woman. She already took that title from the clean and jerk that she did the other day at 165, but she just snatched 140 kilos. Like, that's the kind of weight that's going to win a world championship every year. That's 10 kilos plus more than anyone else is going to do, and she made it look very, very comfortable. So really pleased to see her in such good shape. So whilst Dayin was working up to that 200 kilos, we also had the Turkish boys in. So Yusuf Genç and Mohammed Ozbek, both of them 73s. One more of a snatch specialist, the other a clean and jerk specialist, and that really showed. Today they told us it was a heavy day. So Yusuf Genç worked up to 147 kilos in the snatch, and it looked really good. I mean, that as a 73, that's right up there, because obviously he's an A session type of lifter. Then he built up to 185 in the clean and jerk, but it was Mohammed Ozbek all the way up to 190 kilos, which I think is the weight that he won the European Championships with back in 2022. Just a monster lift. So we've seen multiple 73s now hit that in the training hall, which is something we've never seen. Just the depth of 73 talent is just magnificent right now. Sticking with 73s, Colombia turned up, and Luis Mosquera, the fastest weightlifter in the world basically, he built up 135 in the double for a snatch, which again, it's like, these are just crazy lifts. Lopez, who we haven't seen in years, I think he's going in at 89 maybe. He snatched up to 150. And then finally, we were thrilled to see our boy Keydomar Vallenilla turn up. Now, like, we've been working on something over the last few years, really, and we've been sort of, since, you'll see what's going on, what we're talking about, but he's involved in it, and he finally turned up, and it was great, and he was in good shape right now. I think he worked up to a 155 hang power snatch, which is, you know, ridiculous to do that basically straight off the fly. A bit of a weird session for him. He muscle snatched, then he hang power snatched, then he did some heavy snatch pulls up to 190-ish, back down for a snatch single, jerks out the rack up to 210 kilos. It's a pretty big jerk. I think he's just finishing off with a few other pulls right now. So all in all, a really exciting day so far. So while the men's 67 kilo session was going on, which was a whole lot of fun by the way, 5-time world champion now, Chen Lijian, 10 years after his first in 2013, he won again here. But we got to see Meredith Alwyn, the 2021 world champion, the 76s. She's competing here again at 70. She might have won at 71. I think it was 71.
This was with Sarah and...
Yeah, 71. She was here and she was really showing off. I mean, I think she snatched 105, but she clean and jerked 141 kilos, which is just a massive lift to be hitting in the training hall at that kind of body weight. It really puts the pressure. I know she's not directly in competition with Kate and Olivia, but really puts the pressure on the other US athletes to, you know, really step up their game. At the same time as that, Team Italy were here, not a whole lot, but Giulia Miserendino once again, she snatched 105 kilos, just making that look very routine, probably a bit of an opener for her at this point, 120 clean and jerk as well. And that was it for the day. Then when we came back in this morning, it got very busy. So Team USA was back in. Coach Mary Tyson-Lappin, the super who's in a bit of a race, a bit of a battle with Sarah Robles for that Olympic spot between the two of them. She snatched 124 kilos. I believe that's a personal best for her. I've never seen her go over 120 before. And then she clean and jerked 156. which we know she can do more of. She's been over 160 before. That's a 280 kilo training total. It's absolutely enormous. I mean, as that was happening, Sarah Robles did 145 kilos, but Mary really putting a lot of, well, a real show there. We got to see some of Team GB as well, which was great. The arrival of Sarah Davies and Chris Murray. Sarah, 120 kilos in the clean and jerk. She's going to be competing at 71. Chris Murray up to, I think he power cleaned 150, power clean and jerked, and then he maybe went for the power. I think it was just below at 160 kilos, shaking off the cobwebs. He's competing in the 81s as well. So good to see a little bit more of Team GB turning up there. But really, I think once again, it's Arley Mendez from Chile who kind of, you know, blew me away a little bit. 125 kilo muscle snatch. He's an 89. We don't see muscle snatches really over 100 kilos by anyone who's not a super in these training halls. Like, you know, maybe the big Armenian boys will do 120, maybe 130, but 125 from an 89 is absolutely absurd. This 89 kilo category is going to be off the chain. By the way, you can actually at tv.weightliftinghouse.com, you can buy individual session tickets. It's only $5 and you get the A, B, C, D, and E for that individual category. So if you just want to watch 89s, it's going to be well worth it. Or you just get the full ticket, get everything included. He then built up in the snatch, 160 kilos for a nice little double, then up to 170 kilos for a single, again making it look routine. He did 175 the other day. 195 in the clean and jerk, classic Arley Mendez bar crash, but his legs just power him up and through. And then Armenia plus Gore turned up, and I think the most interesting thing here was Simon Martirosyan. He was building up in the clean and jerk, he loaded 230, he missed the clean, said screw it, hold my protein shake, slapped on some more weight, up to 240 kilos, clean and jerked it. I mean, that's basically the most we've really even ever seen from him in competition. And he just did it in the training hall like that, so really exciting. The other big boys, Lalian and Gormanasian, they worked up to 230 kilos. So yeah, a lot going on in the training hall at the moment. We'll stick around because it might be Lash's heavy day today. At least one of them. We'll keep you posted. Team China once again kicked things off for us today at the World Championships, and it was a big session from Liu Huanhua, aka Giga Chad, and Tian Tao. They're down at one end of the training hall snatching. Tian Tao building up, Giga Chad building up. I think they muscle snatched first, then did some snatches up to 160 kilos for a few singles for Tian Tao. That's right around, I mean, back as an 85, he snatched 178. These days, and he snatched 180 actually as a 96. These days, if he can get to 170 plus, that's pretty good. Liu Huanhua, 170 for a few singles, looked very strong, very comfortable. He hit some heavy snatch deadlifts after, right up to 250 kilos. On the other side of the Chinese training hall, Li Dayin front squats to 230, Shi Ziyong snatches to 130, Li Fabin's back looking ridiculous, and Li Wenwen push pressed, I think 150 kilos out the rack, which is just something that I didn't know that anybody could do. So that was just unbelievable that she made that. 200 kilos in the front squat also. Then at the same time as Lasher doing his heavy session, which we've already seen, Solfrid Koranda went big. So she snatched, we'd seen it the other day, snatching 111 kilos. She did a 150 clean and jerk, which is just the most ridiculous thing. But then today, she snatched up to 120 kilos. 111, she did it again, 115, 118. There might have been a miss chucked in there at some point, one or two, but then up to 120. And because everybody was there watching Lasher and she was next to him, he turned, Georgie turned, all the cameras turned. She had the crowd. She probably felt like, you know, this is just a huge moment in my training hall life, because it was pretty big. And she smoked the 120. It was like the nicest of all of her lifts. So if she's in 120, 150 shape, she's obviously going to win this World Championships. But when she does finally cut down to 81, you know, she's going to be dangerous for all of the athletes there. She might scare the Chinese off from even sending an athlete to Paris in that category. Also, while that was happening, we had the return of our boy Jonathan Rivas from Colombia, 96, 102. I think he's probably competing at 102 here. And I spoke to him and I said, what have you got today? And he said snatches. And he told me he's like 95% of his best at the moment. And he said he's going to go relatively heavy. And he did. I mean, he also worked up to 170 kilos. So we've seen multiple 102s now. building up to that kind of range, which is really cool. After that session, Bulgaria turned up again. We won't go into too much detail with Bulgaria because we've spent a lot of time with them. But again, Andrea Bozidar, the 81, 155 snatch, 190 clean and jerk. 90 is massive for him. And he looks really, really good. Carlos Nassar, again, rocking the weightlifting house belt and sleeves. He did a 190 clean and 2 jerks, which is, you know, for someone who's just recovering from an injury, it's just remarkable that he can do that. And then the final thing, we got to see Kate Vibert finally turn up to the World Championships. You know, she's at 71, she's going up against a stacked field, but also against Olivia Reeves. So the battle in the USA at 71 is huge because only one of them can go to the Olympics. Right now, Kate sits in 4th in the world, so she's got that spot because Olivia Reeves is a kilo behind her, but their battle in a few days' time will dictate who retakes the lead as we move toward Paris. She snatched 110 kilos, 5 kilos more than Olivia Reeves has made here, but then she clean and jerked 130, 5 kilos less than Olivia Reeves. So they got the same total right now, 230 in the training hall. They both look strong. Kate looked really good, I will have to say, but it's just so exciting between these two. And that's the end of that session.